Hello, Mustangs, and welcome to the first official episode of my new podcast, Mustang in the Middle. I want to start off by saying happy Friday the 13th. Let's go ahead and dive right into today's topic. So today I'm going to be talking about social media, and healthy ways to handle social media and my personal thoughts and experiences with social media over about a year. So I definitely observe that there are a lot of negatives to social media. And I also notice how there are some really good positives to social media as well. And as the negatives sometimes overpower the positives, and parents or teenagers, whoever might think social media is bad, everybody should just delete it and go cold turkey on it. And sometimes I think that, and I used to think that. I used to be a heavy anti-social media person. But the reality is that social media is becoming a huge part of society, of employment, and of business. And so it's not going anywhere. And so, in my opinion, I think it's a little unrealistic to plainly say, oh, just delete the app. It's just not that easy in 2019. So, one of my first talking points is how my thoughts and experience with social media have changed about in the last few months, and kind of in the past year. Last year was my first year in news media, and one of my first articles I wrote was one called Social Media Issues. And in the whole article, it was talking about issues that social media had, like catfishing and the problem that humans aren't talking face-to-face and etc. But I never discussed any of the positives because, to me, the positives did not compare to the negatives. And my brain was like, oh, these negatives, no good, anti-social media. Now, let me remind you, I still had social media at this time, so I didn't quite practice what I preached. But I was not addicted to it at all. I would go days without checking it, and I think one time I even challenged myself and I deleted it for a few months, and it didn't really bother me. But as summer came on and I went on trips and things like that, and I just became a little bit more of a teenager, I started going on it a little bit more, having that emotional roller coaster, wanting to post, getting that validation. And I started to think, is social media really that bad? And that kind of got me thinking over the course of summer. And as I started to have conversations with some adults about it and hearing their thoughts, I realized that my train of thought with the concept of social media had changed. And that was something that made me really reflect and think about what steps made me get to that point. So, for starters, I think one of the biggest things that changed my thinking of social media was my social media diet. Now, my social media diet kind of consists of who I follow, how much time I spend on there, and what I use it for. There are a bunch more things that can consist in your social media diet, but those were some of, I would say, the main things that contributed to my social media diet. So, before summer, I had been following a whole bunch of people, people I knew, people I didn't know, that includes celebrities, and people just in my own community. And I had realized during, I think, maybe May of last year, I think it was before summer, and I was with one of my girlfriends, and we were watching this video, and it was kind of talking about social media and ways to kind of not let it affect you emotionally, or something along those lines. And in the video, it was saying, unfollow people who make you feel bad about yourself. Not that they're targeting you specifically or bullying you, but just the things that they post are kind of hitting you in the wrong places, maybe making you feel sad or making you have FOMO, the fear of missing out. That's a big one for me. And so both of those reasons to unfollow them made me say, you know what, there is no positive to following them. They're not going to know, so it's not going to hurt their feelings, etc. And I unfollowed them. And I've done that for a lot of people, celebrities included, and it has made all of the difference. I don't feel like comparing myself. I don't feel jealous. And I don't feel like, am I enough? None of those feelings occur to me or get under my skin. Nothing like that happens when I'm scrolling through my feed, because I simply said, you know what is the point of me seeing what they post? And I say this in not a way to be like, oh, their lives don't matter, but if they're affecting you in kind of a negative way by the stuff they post, they don't have, that doesn't make sense of why their stuff should be appearing on your phone. So that was one of the main changes that I'd made in my social media diet. And it was a huge one, because every time then I went on Instagram, which is the social media source that I have, I didn't have that emotional roller coaster, and then where I started crying, and then I realized, wait, this is stupid. Why am I crying? Nothing like that happened. And that brings me to my next topic of kind of a healthier way to use social media is the use for it can kind of change. Instead of using it to post and get the validation of likes and of comments and of followers, use it as a source of inspiration and admiration. For me, I love to follow a bunch of celebrities who are in my favorite movies and my favorite TV shows and see what they're up to. Not in a creepy stalker way, but I love learning about all the technology and the creativity behind the movies and TV shows. And so when they post about the behind the scenes, it gets me excited, for new episodes coming and sequels maybe of movies. But it also kind of inspires me to be like, this could be my future. I could be working here. And it's just fun and exciting to see what's going on in Hollywood. And so for me, that's my source of inspiration. And I admire some of those celebrities. And so it just gets me excited and more driven for my passion. And so I think that is a much healthier and better use of your time and emotion than to be constantly waiting and refreshing to get 20 more likes. Yeah. Okay. So we talked about unfollowing people who make you have fear of missing out, unfollowing people who make you feel bad about yourself, not because they're targeting you specifically, but because of their stuff they're posting is affecting you in not the best way. And we talked about maybe instead of using social media for wrong reasons, maybe vain reasons, maybe using it more as a source of inspiration and admiration, and using it to add to your passion for whatever subject or learn about something new. Because there are tons of different accounts out there that can involve cooking and painting and just good life quotes. So that should be fun for you guys to go explore and hopefully add some new positive things to your feed. So back to my experience and thoughts and how those had changed with social media over, I would say, mostly summer to the beginning of school. So we're in summer at this point. I'm posting a little bit, but not too much. Sure, it's nice if someone comments something kind. And it does make me feel good because I can't help it does. But by unfollowing people that didn't make me feel too good and changing my social media diet and moderating my time on Instagram, I didn't need that validation, and it didn't make me jump over the moon. It just gave me a slight smile and made me feel good for that moment. And I was like, that was nice that somebody took the time to write that, instead of being like, oh my gosh, look at me. I sort of changed my perspective on what the comment meant. So kind of all in all, I think by shifting my mindset and my feed, like literally, and being aware of what I was doing on there, my uses for it, and my time on there, all those things contributed to a healthier lifestyle with social media, and it made it not a source of like negativity. It didn't make it a source of like addiction. It was just simply there. And so I think that is where my thoughts have kind of come to now, is that I'm very aware of both sides of the story, if you will. However, I think it's not social media itself, but it's how people use it and how people treat it and treat other people on social media that makes it have those negatives and positives. All right, so before I end this episode, I want to challenge you guys. I want to challenge you to, whenever you get the chance, if you have social media, go get it and just kind of reflect and think, why am I using social media? And the people that I am choosing to follow, what emotions are they making me feel? And I just want you guys to think about your own personal social media diet. And if you notice some things that you want to change, go for it. Go research some cool cooking channel or some DIY account, and make your feed a place where you can go to spark creativity and inspiration, and make it not a place of jealousy and sadness and negativity. All right, you guys, this has been so fun, and I hope you guys learned a little something. Thanks for listening to Mustang in the Middle.